The next question is actually very related to the previous question. The question is, how are you ensuring that those skilled migrants working in the UK would get smooth passage to citizenship? I would like to ask Brian Johnson to answer the question first.
When you talk about citizenship, right, the capital system is there to get you locked into the idea that the state, the UK, right, is a neutral institution. It's not. Right, the state, the UK, is there to represent the interests of the capitalist class. It's not out to represent your interests whatsoever. Right? So, when you talk about immigrants becoming and seeking citizenship, they've got to do it out of economic necessity. There's no other way out of it. The same as myself. In order to travel abroad, I had to go for a passport. But yet I consider myself a citizen of the world, being a socialist. And that's the outlook that we should all adopt. Right? That each and every one of us are citizens of the world. And there's only one citizenship that you need to apply, and that's under socialism.
Thank you very much to Brian Johnson. I would now like to invite Ronnie Job to answer the question.
Well, one of the first things I'd say is we'd want to democratise and put ordinary working people in charge of the immigration and migration process, because we can have little trust in politicians who exploited prejudice for their own ends, like I said. Now, a lot of our services, because of the lack of training, are heavily reliant on migrant workers. The NHS would collapse with some of the restrictions that some parties would like to bring in on immigrants and migrant workers. Yeah, it's but the bottom line is, neither migrants nor immigrants caused the financial crisis that we're all paying for.
Thank you to Ronnie Job for answering the question. I would now like to walk a long way to ask Geraint Davies to answer the question next.
I think it's worth remembering that, for example, there's 2.4 million people from Europe living in Britain and 2.2 million people from Britain living in Europe, mainly in Spain and the like, in France and Thailand. And the average immigrant contributes 35% more in tax than the consumer and public services, and is an inherent part of our economic growth, our NHS, our public services. Now, that being said, obviously we do need to have controls on immigration. The answer to the question was about the efficiency of the Home Office, and it is not fit for purpose. We need an efficient set of clear rules that are administered properly, so people's human rights aren't regularly abused and aren't continuously engaged in representing people, and these things should be sorted out effectively by the administration.
Thank you, Geraint Davies, for answering the question. I would now like to invite Ashley Wakeling to answer the question.
Let's come back to the question. Not just skilled people should be entitled to citizenship in Britain. A lot of the migrant labour that comes over here is very much unskilled, and they add a lot to our economy. Movement of people should not come down to finances. For example, if you're a doctor, then come aboard. It should be, you're a person, good for you. There should be nothing more to it, really. Immigration does bring a huge amount to our economy. That's unskilled and skilled. But we need to mainly focus on not drawing out skilled labour from other countries to this country through the imbalance of wealth across Europe and the world. We need to make sure that we pursue a more equal society across the globe rather than improving the society here first, to make sure that we don't drag skilled labour here at the cost of people living in Eastern Europe, Africa, etc., etc.
Thank you to Ashley Wakeling. I would now like to invite Emma Lane to answer the question.
I met with a really interesting body yesterday. They're called Citizens UK, and they are fighting to put in some better protocols around people that are coming here on refugee status or with genuine asylum stories. And for once, I'll agree with Geraint, he's right. We haven't got it right. But after 13 years of an open border policy under Labour, when anyone could come here, anyone could claim benefits, anyone could enjoy the fruits of the hard-working British people's labour, now it's time that we control things a bit better and make sure that things get better for the British people.
Thank you to Emma Lynn. I would now like to invite Harry Roberts to answer the question.
Thank you very much. I would direct my wrath at the actual agency that works out how citizenship is organised, and relate two stories which are quite different. Last Friday, a person who I got to know quite well from Japan was actually put on an aeroplane at Heathrow Airport and sent home. He's been here for 3 years and he just overstayed his visa and hadn't been able to get it renewed in time. That man is the son of a multi-millionaire owner of a £100 million a year company. So he's not just a refugee, but the mindset of these bureaucrats is that they treat everybody like dirt. The other person they were treating like dirt is a Bangladeshi friend of mine who's had to go 6 times to an office in Newport for interview after interview, each of them being over an hour, being cross-examined about every aspect of his life. People are treated like animals, and we need to make sure that these civil servants act in a more civil way, and that will be a better way of assisting people to get their citizenship properly.
Thank you, Harry Roberts. I would now like to invite Mike Sheehan to close this question.
Thank you very much. People move to Britain for all kinds of reasons. Some people don't want to stay particularly for more than a few years and don't apply for citizenship. I think if we were going to focus on a priority, it would be asylum seekers. I think the way asylum seekers are treated in Britain at the moment is an absolute scandal. It's a human rights disgrace. It needs to be sorted out, and we need to live up to our obligations under international treaties that we've signed in accepting asylum seekers